Hello and welcome to today's episode on part 3 of Organizational Structure and Design. My name is Rayan Zahoor and the subject expert is Dr. Arshia Hussain, PhD in Human Resource Management and teaching in the Department of Commerce and Business Studies, Jamia Millia Islamia, New Delhi. Organizational structure is the manner in which job tasks are formally grouped, divided and coordinated within an organization. When managers develop a new structure or change an existing structure, they are said to be involved in organizational design. There are several types of organizational design that exist in large organizations and in small businesses. When managers need to make a decision about the organizational design, they can choose between traditional organizational designs and contemporary organizational designs. In the last episode, we discussed traditional organizational design and initiated a discussion on contemporary organizational design. Today, we will continue our discussion and conclude this topic. Project organization. This is a structure where the organization is aligned towards completing one large project or a small number of large projects. A team of specialists who come from different fields is created for each project. A team created in such a manner is different from functional departments and is independent of them too. The size of a project is generally different from one project to another. The project manager coordinates the activities of the project team and is assisted by experts from within the organization and from outside it too. Suitability of project organization. Organizations today use project structure under several different circumstances, which are: the project is for one time and for a limited period, the specifications of the project are well defined, the organization wants to focus on its regular activities and wants to continue them without distractions. The project has certain unique challenges that the organization is not familiar with. It is critical for the organization that the new assignment should be successfully completed. The project needs to be completed within a limited period of time. The nature of the project is complex and it has several activities that are interdependent. Advantages of project organization. There are several clear benefits of project organization, which are: the project organization enables and empowers the project team to focus their efforts on the complex project. It can be customized to meet the needs and requirements of a specific project. Project management sometimes requires several specialists from different fields. The specialists who work in this structure get a higher level of satisfaction from working on projects that are complex and utilizes their capabilities better. Project organization allows the company to use the specialized knowledge that is available within the organization to its maximum. Project organization gives a lot of flexibility for the handling of specialized projects. It adopts an approach which is logical and can manage any challenges as it provides a definite beginning, an end and well-defined objectives and results. Project organization enables the completion of a project in a timely manner without affecting the regular activities that need to be carried out in the organization. Limitation of project organization. There are several limitations that project organization suffers from. The responsibilities of a project manager are not defined clearly, and this can make his job very difficult. Generally, a lack of clear pattern of communication is observed. The standards of performance for the different professionals who are involved in the project are not well defined. A project structure brings about uncertainty as the project manager needs to deal with specialists from different and diverse areas. The interests of the specialists and their approaches are often different from the manager and from each other. During the execution of the project, the pressures from specialists who come from diverse fields are often unusual and make the process of making decisions highly complicated. The project manager has to create a process that enables the team to monitor the information quickly and make decisions fast. The motivations of specialists could be diverse too and might add to the problems of the project manager. There could be regular conflicts among the specialists as they would have different orientations. Matrix organization. This is one of the most recent type of organizational design and has been developed in order to create flexible structures so that a series of project objectives can be achieved. Matrix organization is also referred to as grid organization. This was designed as a response to an ever increasing size and complexity of companies that need an organizational structure which is not just more flexible, but also technically oriented as compared to traditional structures like functional structure or line and staff structure. Matrix organization is established by putting together the project structure and the functional structure, which are complementary structures. It is a combination of the departmental organization from the functional structure and the project organization. In an organization like this, projects cut across the functional departments. The teams of the project consist of people from functional departments. They are assigned to the project for a certain specific period of time based on the requirement and sometimes for the entire duration of the project. When the objectives for which they were assigned to the project is complete, they go back to the department that they belong to. The features of the matrix organization are: matrix organization is created based on a specific project. The project manager is in charge of the project and is given the authority that is required for him to complete. He is expected to complete the project on time within the costs that have been allocated for the project. He needs to maintain the quality and also other conditions that have been placed by the senior leadership. The project manager identifies and invites individuals from different functional departments. He assigns work to the different functional groups. Once the project is complete, the functional groups return to their respective departments and are reassigned other tasks, or they join another project. The project manager is also reassigned by the divisional manager after the completion of the project. In a matrix organization, the project manager and the different functional managers have very different roles. The project manager follows a point of view which is of general management for his project. The functional managers are responsible for keeping their department in order. Project managers need to take decisions about the efforts that are required to successfully complete the given project, the time when these efforts will be performed, the amount of capital that is required for the project. Functional managers need to take decisions about the individuals who will perform specific tasks, the method in which they will accomplish the tasks, the quality of the tasks that need to be maintained. Let us look at an example of a matrix organization structure. A company has several divisions, one of which is the construction division. It consists of 3 projects and each of those projects have specific objectives and a timeline to complete the project. This division has 4 functional departments. They are production, engineering, finance and human resource. All these departments provide functional support to each of the projects. Every project organization consists of a project manager and work groups from each of the functional departments. The project manager is expected to achieve the objectives of the project with the help of all the functional groups. Once the project has been completed and the project objectives met, the functional groups are assigned back to their respective departments. During this period, when the project is active, all the employees who are assigned to the project have 2 bosses. one from the project and the second is from the functional department that they belong to. This is in contradiction with the concept of unity of command, according to which no individual in an organization should report to more than one boss. This could lead to serious issues for the organization. In order to evade these issues, both bosses should determine the exact authority and the responsibilities that each of the bosses will have during the life of the project. This needs to be done before the project begins. When there is an arrangement like this, every employee will receive orders about a specific subject from only one boss and there will be no overlap. If an arrangement like this does not exist, it is going to create many issues related to human relations which will be difficult to manage. It is absolutely essential to distinguish the nature of authority and its extent with each boss so that the employees and the bosses can function in a smooth manner. Suitability of matrix organization. Matrix organization was developed in order to fulfill the requirements of large organizations for a structure that is flexible in its approach yet technically sound. Temporary project teams are created and assigned with the objective of completing a specific project successfully. For example, in an industrial organization, mechanical, chemical, electronic and industrial engineers could all work together along with accountants, scientists and other professionals in order to develop a new product. Matrix organization is appropriate for industries that have products which are highly complex. An example is the aerospace industry, where project teams are created for the specific projects that might create space systems or weapon systems. It is also appropriate for industries that have a large number of projects ranging from large to small, running at the same time. An example of this is the construction industry. Boundaryless organization. This is another approach that is used in contemporary organizational design. A boundaryless organization is one whose design is not based on a predefined structure. The organization tries to remove the chain of command, does not place limits on the span of control, and replaces departments with teams that have been empowered. Jack Welch, who is the former chairman of GE, coined this term. He wanted to do away with vertical and horizontal boundaries within his organization and eliminate external barriers between GE and its customers as well as suppliers. This idea may sound like it is not practical, but it was successful at that time. Even today, many organizations are finding success with this approach and are able to operate more effectively in the rapidly changing environment by staying flexible and keeping themselves unstructured. Their ideal structure is one that does not have a rigid and predefined structure. An organization has many different kinds of boundaries. It could have internal boundaries, which include horizontal boundaries that are created by work specialization and departmentalization, vertical boundaries which are imposed by separating employees using hierarchies and organizational levels, external boundaries that separate the organization from its suppliers, customers and other stakeholders. In order to eliminate these boundaries or to minimize them, the managers could use virtual or network organizational structures. Virtual organization. An organization that is virtual has aspects of a traditional organization. However, it also uses recent developments in information technology extensively to get its work done. An organization like this could consist of a small core group of full-time employees that takes help from specialists from outside the organization who are hired on a contractual basis whenever there is a requirement for them. A virtual organization could also consist of employees that work from home or their independent offices and could be in different locations. They are connected using technology and they could get together face to face occasionally. Network organization. This is another approach for managers who want to eliminate organizational boundaries or to minimize them. Like the virtual organization, this too consists of a small core of full-time employees. This organization outsources its major business functions. In this approach, organizations are able to focus on their core competencies and outsource other tasks to companies and professionals who are experts in those areas. There are several large organizations that use network structure and outsource manufacturing itself. Although there are many companies that use outsourcing, it is important to note that all of them are not successful at it. There are several problems that are associated with outsourcing, which are selecting the wrong activities that need to be outsourced, selecting a vendor who is not right for the job, not considering personal issues, not being able to keep control over the activities that have been outsourced, not factoring in the hidden costs that might exist, not having an exit strategy. This includes both switching to another vendor or bringing back the activity so that it could be done within the organization. A review was done that used 91 outsourcing activities. It found out that the two top reasons for an outsourcing venture to fail were a contract that was poorly written and losing control of the activity. Challenges for organizational design. Managers try to find the organizational design that fits the company and will help employees to do their jobs effectively and efficiently. The dynamic environment that organizations face today gives rise to certain challenges that the managers must consider. The challenges range from managing structural global issues, building an organization based on learning, making sure that employees stay connected, and designing office space. Designing office space. The objective of designing office space is to maximize space so that the costs can be reduced as much as possible and freeing employees to work at the same time. Frederick Taylor suggested in the early 1900s that offices that are properly organized will be able to boost productivity. The action-free office was designed by Herman Miller in 1964 with clusters of barrier-free offices. A concept of openness and proximity was introduced with the objective of breaking down barriers and encouraging meaningful traffic. A few years later, the size of the furniture was reduced and this idea started gaining popularity. In the next phase, furniture companies that were following Miller's design started using materials that were cheaper and created mass cubicles. Office spaces today are collaborative and accommodate virtual workers with group spaces to enable interaction and encourage creativity. Gensler, which is an international design company, did a research study in 2013 which discovered that individuals in an organization spent 25% of their office time in collaborating and 50% in deep focus. This means that companies need to provide an office environment which will facilitate interaction and at the same time allow employees to work without interruption. Keeping employees connected. Several concepts of organizational design were developed during the 20th century. This was a time when tasks were relatively predictable and consistent. Most employees were hired for full-time jobs which continued indefinitely and work was done while being supervised at the company's premises. Organizations have changed significantly since then. A major structural design challenge that managers face today is to keep employees connected to the organization, most of whom are widely dispersed and on the move. Building a learning organization. To build a learning organization, managers must ensure that employees constantly acquire and share new knowledge. They should also be in a position to apply that knowledge while doing their work. According to some theorists, the ability of an organization to learn and apply that learning might be the only source of competitive advantage that is sustainable. The characteristics that a learning organization needs are: members must be in a position to share information and collaborate with each other throughout the organization. Structural and physical barriers must be as less as possible. Teams are an essential part of the organizational design for a learning organization. Employees working in teams must be empowered so that they can take decisions and resolve issues. Managers become facilitators and supporters, and the organization requires the managers to direct and control at the minimum level. Managing global structural issues. Different geographies, regions, and countries have different organizational structures. Managers have to be familiar with such structural differences. Based on research, it has been found that globally the structure and strategies are similar. However, the behavior within them maintains their cultural uniqueness. Therefore, managers need to consider the cultural implications of design elements while they are designing a new structure or changing an existing one. Employees in more economically developed countries have higher levels of professional education skills, and therefore formalization might be less important in such countries as compared to countries that are not as developed economically. Chain of command and span of control could also be affected by cultural differences. Summary. Project organization. This is a structure where the organization is aligned towards completing one large project or a small number of large projects. A team of specialists who come from different fields is created for each project. A team created in such a manner is different from functional departments and is independent of them too. The size of a project is generally different from one project to another. A project manager coordinates the activities of the project team and is assisted by experts from within the organization and from outside it too. Matrix organization. This is one of the most recent type of organizational design and has been developed in order to create flexible structures so that a series of project objectives can be achieved. Matrix organization is also referred to as grid organization. This was designed as a response to the ever increasing size and complexity of companies that need an organizational structure which is not just more flexible but also technically oriented as compared to traditional structures like functional structure or line and staff structure. Boundaryless organization. This is another approach that is used in contemporary organizational design. A boundaryless organization is one whose design is not based on a predefined structure. The organization tries to remove the chain of command, does not place limits on the span of control, and replaces departments within teams that have been empowered. This includes virtual organizations and network organization. Managers try to find the organizational design that fits the company and will help employees to do their jobs effectively and efficiently. The dynamic environment that organizations face today gives rise to certain challenges that the manager must consider. The challenges are designing office space, keeping employees connected, building a learning organization, managing global structural issues. This is all we have for today. Hope the session was informative. We will meet again in the next episode with a new topic. Till then, take care and goodbye.